Shabbat Shalom, it's Ruben Ebrahimoff. This week's Haftorah, an incredible story about lepers, leprosy. In the Parsha, you read about what happens to a person when he gets leprosy, how he has to go outside of the camp, and that he has to recover from it. Recover from what? In those days where they had supernatural, spiritual events, people that talk slander, Lashon Hara, would get leprosy on their skin as a barometer to whether they were telling the things that they should tell about other people. They now fast forward to a story in the book of Melachim Bet, Perek Zayin, the book Kings 2, chapter 7. What's going on over here? Arba'a anashim hayu Metzoraim. Okay, 4 men that had sarad. Which 4 men? It was Gehazi and his 3 sons. Why did they have tzarad? Why? I'll tell you the little prequel to the Haftarah. The prequel to the Haftarah is that Gehazi, this man with tzarad, outside of the city walls in Samaria, Shomron, the northern capital of the state of Israel, was helping Elisha. Elisha had been approached by a man named Naaman, not Jewish. Naaman said, please cure me. I need help. Elisha says, I'll happily cure you. It's really very simple. Just dip yourself in the waters of the Yarden, of the Jordan River. Naaman wanted to compensate Elisha. Elisha refused. So Gehazi, Elisha's assistant, took this money, and by taking this money, also got tzara'at for what he did. Because it was measure for measure, and the cure that Elisha did of that man, Naaman, tzara'at, was now given upon Elisha, upon Gehazi, and because he should never have taken this money. So now these 4 men are outside the city, and what does it say about Samaria? It says that it was sieged and surrounded, and they were being starved to death. So they look, Gehazi looks over the hill, and he sees the camp of the Arameans, and they say to themselves, these 4 people, if we sit out here, we're going to starve to death. We're surrounded by this army of the Arameans. Their camp is over there. Why don't we just make a bolt for it? We're going to be dead anyway. We'll go into the camp. If we find any food, we're going to go eat it. And they go for it. And by the time they get to the camp, they find that there's a deserted camp. The fire is still burning. Everything is still there. The money's there. The camp is there. The food is there. And they hit the jackpot. So now what? They start grabbing the food. They go from one tent to the next tent. And they say, hey, this is great. But now what do they say? Hey, wait a minute. There's something wrong here. Our brethren are suffering in this sieged city of Samaria. We have to go get them some food. And they take the couple of horses. They ride into the camp of Shomron, Samaria. And they go tell the king. The king says, it's all a trick. The trick is that they made pretend that they evacuated the city, so we will come out of the walled, protected city, because they can't get us here, and when we leave the city, they're going to ambush us. And they say, no, there's nobody there. Come check. And the king sends his men, and they go and they investigate, and then they tell everybody in the whole city to come pouring out and run over to the Arameans because there was nobody surrounding them anymore, and they could go eat. They don't have to be starved to death anymore. So now, there was one doubting Thomas, the gatekeeper of the city of Samaria. And there was a prediction by Elisha that tomorrow the price of bread will go from $100 a loaf, because of the famine, to a penny. And the guy looked at me and goes, fat chance, no way. And it turns out the Haftarah ends with this man who doubted the words of Elisha being trampled as everybody from the city of Shomron, Samaria, marched out of the city running off to the Aramean camp to get food. So here is a fantastic story about lepers. They say, we got nothing to lose. We're going to drop dead. Let's go for it. And that's the message. In life, we shouldn't be afraid to go for it. What do you got to lose? And sometimes you're with God and He blesses you and you hit the jackpot. We're big dreamers. We're the nation of Hatikvah, hope. Shabbat Shalom. Enjoy the Haftarah.